So in the previous lecture, we started with jet streams. Yes, Akash. So people were having blank faces. So I was very much disappointed. So I will start. I will give you a brief background. We started with jet stream. Here, I told you these are fast moving winds. In upper atmosphere, we have upper level westerlies. These upper level westerlies are found at the top of tropopause. Between certain latitudes, the velocity of these upper level westerlies is exceptionally increased. In those latitudes, these upper level westerlies are known as jet stream. Polar front jet stream, subtropical westerly jet stream in both the hemisphere. So this exceptional increase in the velocity of upper level westerlies may be due to basically steep pressure gradient. It may be due to conservation of angular momentum, right? So I told you there are two jet streams that are global in nature and they remain in existence throughout the year. One is polar front jet stream. Second is subtropical westerly jet stream. Subtropical westerly jet stream is found between 30 north to 35 north, 30 south to 35 south. Polar front jet stream is roughly between 60 to 65 north, 60 to 65 south. Although the position of polar front jet stream varies significantly with changing season. During northern summer, it is very weak and pushed close to the poles. During winters, northern winters, southern winters, it's very strong and it extends far close to the equator, up to 35 north. Then I discussed there are two more jet streams. Tropical easterly jet stream and polar night jet stream. These two are seasonal and regional in nature. They get formed in specific seasons and specific regions, isn't it? These two jet streams, they are global. They will remain in existence throughout the globe in specific latitudes. Polar front jet stream and subtropical westerly jet stream, they remain in existence throughout the year, and in particular latitudes they are found throughout the globe, both in northern and southern hemisphere. They are thousands of kilometers long, hundreds of kilometers wide, and few kilometers thick. But these two jet streams are regional and seasonal in nature. That means they get formed in specific regions and specific seasons. For example, tropical easterly jet stream is found in northern hemisphere between India and Africa during northern summer. Polar night jet stream is found in stratosphere above poles during winter season only, right? So this is what we discussed. Then I said in jet streams, we are going to discuss certain things. First, we'll discuss origin, how they get formed. Second, their significance. And here, while discussing significance of polar front jet stream, I'll discuss Rossby waves. And fourth, what I said, what we'll discuss? Life index cycle of polar front jet stream and general characteristics. General characteristics. Keep on seeing where the voice miss na ho jaye. Origin, significance, while significance, I'll also discuss Rossby waves in polar front jet stream and general characteristics. Let me start. First, origin. Be very clear. Wherever you have any doubt, ask me. I will discuss from the very basic. I told you first origin of polar front jet stream. Very simple. I told you what are polar front jet stream. Simply, the other day I discussed about thermal winds. I told you this is equator, this is poles. At poles, it is extremely cold, dense and heavy. Air is extremely cold, dense and heavy. At equator, air is warm and rarefied. At poles, pressure is very high. Suppose on surface it is 900 millibar. Here pressure is less, 850 millibar. I told you, since the air over pole is cold, dense and heavy, so the pressure will decrease rapidly. Air is cold, dense and heavy. On moving 1 kilometer above pressure or 100 meter above, pressure may decrease by 50 millibar. So here the pressure prevailing will be 850, where air over the equator is warm and rarefied. On rising 100 meters or 1 kilometer, the air is warm and rarefied. So pressure exerted by the air will be less. So the pressure will decrease slowly by a rate of 20 millibar. So here the pressure will be 830. Are you getting this? Over equator, pressure will decrease slowly. So what happens? The pressure difference on the surface was from poles to equator, but with certain ascent, this pressure difference becomes less. Soon you find that over poles, what we have low temperature and low pressure coexisting simultaneously vis-a-vis equator. Further, pressure will decrease slowly. Here it will be 810. Here we find high temperature and high pressure. Here low temperature and low pressure. This happens in upper atmosphere. This can never happen on surface. ये कमाल ऊपर के एटमॉस्फेयर में होता है कि लो प्रेशर एंड लो टेम्परेचर एग्जिस्टिंग साइमल्टेनियसली. इट कैन नेवर हैपन ऑन surface. What we find after certain ascent over poles, you have 800 millibar pressure, low temperature, and at equator at the same height the pressure is 810. This means wind will start moving from equator to poles, and this pressure will gradually go on becoming steep. 750, here 790. Winds will start moving from equator to poles in upper atmosphere. At the top, highest velocity winds are found. These are known as thermal winds. These winds are the result of temperature contrast between equator and poles. These winds are the result of temperature contrast between equator and poles. At equator it is warm, so pressure is decreasing slowly. At poles it is cold, so pressure is decreasing rapidly. As a result, this pressure gradient is coming into existence. So these winds are coming into existence. So these winds are known as thermal winds. At the top, you see, as the wind will move from equator to pole, I told you its velocity is very high. It will turn towards its right and start moving west to east. In southern hemisphere, equator to poles, it will turn towards its left and start moving from west to east. At the top, wind movement is west to east. Any doubt? These winds found below, their velocity will be less pressure difference, coldest force will be less. But as they will move towards poles, because of pressure gradient existing from equator to pole, they will undergo acceleration. Their velocity will increase, coldest force will increase, and after some distance, they will become west to east. Like we discussed about anti-trades. Anti-trades become west to east at 25 to 30 latitude. है ना? Further below winds, they will become west to east, further northward. And I told you one more thing. Since tropopause is slanting, at equator its height is more, at poles it's less. At equator, as the winds are at the top, the velocity is very high, so they become west to east just north of equator. The winds which are further below, which are further below, they will become west to east, slightly north. But when they will become west to east, they will be at the top of tropopause. Tropopause is slanting, they will become west to east. These winds, their velocity is still less. Why? Because pressure difference, the winds, as the height decreases, pressure difference goes on decreasing and velocity of wind go on decreasing. As the velocity decreases, Coriolis force decreases, and they become west to east, further north. But when they become west to east, purely west to east, they are at the top of tropopause, right? Now, these winds between certain latitudes, the velocity of the upper level westerlies becomes exceptionally high. In those latitudes, upper level westerlies are known as polar front jet streams or jet streams. Now, I told you this is subpolar low pressure belt. Subpolar low pressure belt. Further south of it lies subtropical high pressure belt, and here lies polar high. Now, from polar high, polar easterlies are moving, and from subtropical high pressure belt, westerlies are moving. Because of Coriolis force in northern hemisphere, Coriolis force is acting right hand side. It is acting right hand side. So what will happen? These polar easterlies will turn towards their right, and on the poleward, on the equatorward margin, that is along subpolar low pressure belt, these polar easterlies will become east to west on the surface. See, they are moving from polar high to subpolar low pressure belt. Coriolis force is acting towards left, towards right hand side. This is the right hand side. If you stand behind the wind, then this is the right hand side. So these winds, they turn towards the right, and by the time they reach subpolar low pressure belt, they become purely west to east. They become purely west to east. Same goes to westerlies. Westerlies are the result of sinking of air along subtropical high pressure belt. Obviously, because of sinking, they get adiabatically heated and they are warm. After descending, they move as westerlies and trade winds. Under the influence of Coriolis force, they will turn towards the right, and by the time they reaches poleward margin, they become purely west to east. Here what we see, cold polar easterly is blowing and warm westerly is blowing. Strong temperature gradient, extremely cold air, warm air. Baroclinic instability is prevailing. I'll discuss somewhat about barotropical and baroclinical instabilities. Although they are least important, don't bother. What is barotropical instability? That barotropical regions, baroclinical regions, or baroclinical instability, or baroclinical environment. कुछ नहीं है, सिंपल है. फालतू में शब्द बना दिए, baroclinical, barotropical, कुछ नहीं, very simple. यहां समझ में आया? What is happening over here? Here, westerlies, by the time they reach subpolar low pressure belt, they are moving from west to east. They are moving from east to west. Cold polar easterlies are coming from polar regions. These easterlies are coming from polar regions. So above them, they carry cold air mass. Westerlies are coming from subtropical regions. They are a result of sinking. They are bringing with them warm air mass above them. Every planetary wind is associated with a particular type of air mass. Polar easterlies are emanating from polar region. So they are bringing above them, that is air mass having a height of 10 to 12 kilometer. इसके ऊपर air होती है. Polar easterlies are carrying an air mass. Every planetary wind is associated with the air mass. Polar easterlies are coming from polar region. So are they carrying extremely cold polar air mass? Westerlies are coming from subtropical. They are a result of sinking. So they are carrying warm air mass above them. Warm tropical air mass, warm air mass. And this subpolar low pressure belt, it becomes polar front. Front is a transition zone. We'll discuss. There's a topic front. Is a transition zone or line of discontinuity, it is having horizontal extent. It separates two contrasting air masses. And the temperature contrast on either side of front determines the magnitude or intensity of baroclinical instability. अभी बताऊंगा baroclinical कुछ नहीं है, छोड़ो. ये फ्रंट्स है, यहाँ कोल्ड पोलर स्टडीज आ रही हैं, वार्म वेस्टर्लीज आ रही है. वार्म वेस्टर्लीज आर रिजल्ट ऑफ सिंकिंग ऑफ एयर. तो सिंकिंग से एयर क्या हो जाएगी, वार्म हो जाएगी. दे विल कैरी वार्म एयर मास अबव देम. पोलर ईस्टर्लीज विल कैरी कोल्ड एयर मास. ये सरफेस विंड्स हैं. These are surface winds. They are blowing on surface in opposite direction like this. These are polar easterlies. These are warm westerlies. These winds are blowing on the surface. These winds are surface winds. इसका मतलब समझ रहे हो ना? In parallel and opposite direction. They are parallel and opposite direction. They are blowing. Here, what you are seeing, these are carrying warm air mass above them, and these are carrying cold air mass. Polar easterlies are having cold dense air mass, because they are coming from polar region, and this air mass extends up to tropopause. Warm westerlies coming from tropical regions, they are having warm air mass. इसके ऊपर क्या है, warm air mass है. Above this it is cold air mass. Obviously over, are you all clear up to here? This warm westerly is every planetary wind is associated with a particular air mass. Westerlies and trade winds, they carry tropical air mass. In fact, air mass gets formed in polar region and tropical region, and middle latitudes are the zones of the interaction. We'll discuss in air mass. Here what is happening, this warm air mass is over westerlies, cold air mass is over polar easterlies. Now what you see, over warm air mass, pressure will decrease. Here the pressure will decrease slowly at a rate of 20 millibar. 20 millibar. Here pressure will decrease rapidly because it is cold and dense. It is cold and dense. At the top, you will see pressure gradient will become very steep. From here the pressure is decreasing slowly. Here the pressure is decreasing fast. Why? Because it is carrying cold dense air mass. So pressure will decrease rapidly. Yes? Rachna, getting this? Here the pressure will decrease slowly. So after 10 kilometers at top of tropopause, you will find pressure over this region, over westerlies, will become very high, and pressure over polar easterlies at the top of troposphere will be low. Pressure will be directed from in this direction, from westerlies to polar easterlies, and this pressure gradient will be very steep. Previously, westerlies were blowing because of pressure difference between equatorial and polar region. Now this pressure difference has got established in near vicinity. This pressure difference is in close vicinity. Because of this steep pressure gradient directed from equator to poles, wind velocity will be very high and they will turn towards right. Pressure is directed from where? From westerlies to over polar easterlies, from westerlies to polar easterlies, isn't it? And because of this pressure gradient, velocity will be very high, and because of in upper atmosphere there is no friction. High velocity Coriolis force will cause this air to turn towards right. High velocity, and in the upper atmosphere, very high velocity winds blowing from west to east are found in this vicinity, and these upper level westerlies blowing from west to east, they will turn towards right and they'll start blowing from west to east. इसमें डायरेक्शन में हाई प्रेशर ओवर वेस्टर्लीज हियर इन दिस रीजन, लो प्रेशर ओवर पोल्स. So pressure gradient is from equator to poles. So wind velocity will be very high. Because of Coriolis force, it will turn towards right. And these winds are known as polar front jet streams. In certain latitudes, in certain latitudes, the velocity of upper level westerly, in the absence of this pressure gradient, the velocity of upper level westerlies would have been very less. It is because of this convergence of westerlies and polar easterlies, because they carry two different air mass, the pressure gradient in the upper atmosphere becomes very steep. Because of the steep pressure gradient, wind velocity becomes very high, and that is responsible for the formation of polar front jet stream. Polar front jet streams are the result of interaction of two contrasting air masses carried by westerlies and polar easterlies as a result of this convergence of contrasting air mass, the pressure gradient in the upper troposphere becomes steep, and velocity of upper level westerly is exceptionally increased because of this steep pressure gradient, and these exceptionally high velocity upper level westerlies are known as jet stream. अरे एक लाइन में लिख दो, jet streams are the result of steep pressure gradient in the upper troposphere caused by convergence of warm westerlies and polar easterlies. Polar front jet streams are the result of steep pressure gradient created in upper troposphere because of convergence of warm westerlies and polar easterlies. कोई नहीं पूछने आएगा, तुम्हें कुछ नहीं बनाना, सिर्फ 2 लाइनें लिखनी है. ये तुम्हारे समझाने के लिए बना रहा हूं, तुम्हें एग्जाम में नहीं बनाना. तुम्हें तो केवल 2 लाइन लिख देनी है, एग्जामिनर अपने आप समझ जाएगा. मैं तुमको समझा रहा हूं, तुम्हें एग्जामिनर को नहीं समझाना. तुम्हें केवल 2 लाइन लिख देनी है. बिकॉज ऑफ कन्वर्जेंस ऑफ वार्म वेस्टर्लीज एंड पोलर ईस्टर्लीज in subpolar in middle latitudes, steep pressure gradient gets formed in the upper troposphere. As a result, the velocity of winds in upper troposphere is exceptionally increased, and these are known as polar front jet stream. 5 मिनट का ब्रेक लेता हूं अभी. यार पानी है, पानी दे यार. ये चलो. नाउ ये क्लियर है किसको? ये बेटा डोंट हेजिटेट एनी मोर, तुम्हें मैं पर्सनली एक्सप्लेन कर दूंगा व्हाट्सएप पर. किसको ये 100% क्लियर हो गया है पोलर फ्रंट जेट स्ट्रीम कैसे बनती हैं? बेटा अनामिका ये उंगली उठा रही हो कि मतलब लगा रही हो? क्लियर रखो ना, ऐसे क्लियर है? हरी अमृत बोरा वेरी गुड. चंद्रमणि यस. ऐसा कुछ भी नहीं है. अगर नहीं भी क्लियर है तो एग्जामिनर को थोड़ी मालूम है नहीं क्लियर है. तुम्हें तो एग्जाम में केवल इतना ही लिखना है जो मैंने बोला है. ठीक है, वैसे क्लियर है तो अच्छी बात है. नाउ दिस इज द रीजन फॉर द ओरिजिन ऑफ पोलर फ्रंट जेट स्ट्रीम. तो पोलर फ्रंट जेट स्ट्रीम्स आर द रिजल्ट ऑफ इंटरेक्शन ऑफ 2 डिफरेंट एयर masses. नाउ सब ट्रॉपिकल वेस्टर्ली जेट स्ट्रीम. Subtropical westerly jet stream, see this is our earth, and on our earth this is equator, and tropopause slants from equator to poles. Here I explained you a concept, angular momentum, है ना? What is angular momentum? Let me explain it first. I told you if you tie a ball with a rope and you are rotating this ball, ये पोल है, इससे एक रस्सी बांध के बॉल बांधी, रोटेटिंग इट, राइट? सपोज m is the mass of the ball, this is the axis of rotation, this is the distance, r is the distance from axis of rotation, r. हम इसके along revolve कर रहे हैं, isn't it? Ball is tied to a rope and it is I am revolving it around this axis of rotation. This is the angle covered by this ball, del theta. Then angular momentum is mass of the ball, body, square of the distance of the body from axis of rotation into angular velocity. Angular velocity क्या होती है? Angular velocity is simply amount of angle traveled in unit time. Small theta, theta means small. Small angle traveled, amount of angle covered in specific time. चाहे बॉल यहां लगी हो चाहे यहां लगी हो, all these balls will have same angular velocity because the amount of angle covered by them is same. Suppose this is a 2 meter long rope and one ball is tied over here, one ball is tied over here, one is here. If this is rotating, then this amount of angle traveled by this ball tied over here and this ball, both are same, angular velocity is same, but the linear velocity is not same. The ball which is away, its linear velocity will be more. Linear velocity is given by v. V is equal to r omega. There is a relationship. इन दोनों बॉल की angular velocity तो same होगी, they will cover equal amount of angle in specific time, but their linear velocity will be different. The ball which is farther away, अब तुम खुद सोचो, एक रस्सी से तुम सबको टांग दिया जाए, 10 मीटर लंबी रस्सी लूं और तुम सबको 1-1 मीटर की दूरी पे टांग दूं और फिर घुमाना शुरू करूं, तो तुम ये बताओ सबसे दूर होगा वो सबसे तेज घूमेगा? Just tell me, if I tie you with a rope of 10 meter long, I tie you each of them 1 meter away. The person who is tied 10 meter away and I start rotating, assume, feel it. I start rotating. The person that is located 10 meters away, his linear velocity will be more. Although amount of angle covered will be same by all of you. है ना? So this can also, so what happens? This remains constant, angular momentum. Why? If a body is not acted by any external force, Earth is an isolated system and we believe it is not acted upon by external force, the angular momentum on the Earth remains constant. So if a body is moving, its angular momentum remains, J remains constant. That means if I, instead of rotating it, I start winding this rope around this pole, I start winding this rope, then what will happen? This R will decrease. This R will decrease. This can also be written as MRV. V is equal to R omega, na? If I start winding this rope, what you will feel? R will decrease. When R will decrease, this M is constant. To maintain angular momentum constant, mass is constant, what is decreasing? R. This angular velocity and linear velocity must increase, isn't it? It must. You take a chain and start winding around a finger, you will find as the length of the chain will decrease, its velocity will increase. Take a chain, gold chain or silver chain, you start revolving, winding it around your finger. As its length will decrease, its velocity will increase because angular momentum remains conserved. If R decreases, this angular velocity and linear velocity both increases. When the distance from axis of rotation decreases, you must remember, angular velocity is the amount of angle traveled in unit time. Linear velocity is linear velocity. It is measured in terms of distance traveled per unit second. Linear velocity is measured in terms of, if I tie 10 balls in a 10 meter long rope, the ball that is at 10 meter distance, tied at distance of 10 meter, the amount of distance covered by it will be more. Linear velocity is measured in terms of distance traveled per unit time. That amount of meters or kilometers traveled per unit second or per unit hour. Now, having told this, now on our Earth is spherical. Earth is revolving around its axis of rotation. Earth is revolving around its axis of rotation. Now see, if you see, suppose this is the axis of rotation, this is equator, this is the axis of rotation. You see, as you move from equator to poles, the distance from axis of rotation goes on decreasing or not? The distance from axis of rotation goes on decreasing. As you move from equator to poles, here at near poles, the axis of rotation is very close. As you move away, the distance from axis of rotation is increasing. है ना? As a result, so angular momentum is what? Mass of body, distance from axis of rotation, angular velocity, or MRV. Now, if a body, if any body or any wind moves from equator towards poles, any body or any wind, whether it is wind or any body, any bird, aeroplane, especially we have to discuss about wind. When any wind will move from equator to poles, what will happen? Mass of the wind is constant, but distance from axis of rotation is decreasing. As a result, its angular velocity and linear velocity both will increase. As a rule of thumb, whenever any wind moves from equator to poles, it undergo increase in velocity. Because when any wind will move from equator to poles, its distance from axis of rotation will decrease. As r will decrease, its angular velocity as well as linear velocity both will increase. And whenever any wind will move from poles to equator, ये एक रूल है, एक ज्योग्राफी का रूल है, रूल ऑफ थंब. Whenever any wind will move from poles to equator, mass of wind is same, r is increasing, its angular and linear velocity will decrease. Yes, it's true. It's true because of conservation of angular momentum. When westerlies move from subtropic to subpolar low pressure belt, the increase in velocity of westerlies is very high because what happens? Because of conservation of angular momentum. But polar easterlies, when they move from poles to equator, subpolar pressure belt, because of conservation of angular momentum, they will undergo decrease in velocity. So polar easterlies can never be so violent as westerlies, because any wind moving from equator to pole, distance from axis of rotation will decrease and its angular and linear velocity will increase. रट लो इसको, ये समझ लो. And when any wind will move from poles to equator, the distance from axis of rotation, will increase. As r will increase, its linear and angular velocity of the wind will decrease. Now I told you above Earth there is a tropopause. The height of tropopause is up to 18 km over equator. Why? Because along equator, thermal convection currents are causing air to rise. This rising air pushes the height of troposphere up to 18 km. Where at poles, here antitrades are sinking. So the height of tropopause over poles is just 8 km. Right? Now, origin of subtropical westerly jet stream. तुमको subtropical westerly jet stream का origin explain करने के लिए I had to explain all these things. I told you jet streams are what? Those sections of upper level westerlies where the velocity of upper level westerlies is exceptionally enhanced. Now, as the wind will move from equator to pole, the top winds will become west to east immediately north of equator. है ना अनामिका, गायब मत हो बेटा, मैं I have to explain you. देखो, the winds at the top, because here the pressure gradient is more. As we come down, as the height of the wind decreases, their pressure difference will go on decreasing and the velocity of wind will decrease. है ना? At the top, the velocity is very high. At the top, as soon as it leave the equator, it will become west to east. है ना? And start revolving. Further below, the winds become west to east at certain north latitude, right? Maybe these antitrades, they become west to east at about 25 to 30, है ना? Antitrades we discussed because of Coriolis force. Further low, further down, some winds will become west to east at about 30 to 35. When we studied the environment, we found that highest velocity winds apart from polar front jet stream, the highest velocity of winds in upper troposphere is found between 30 to 35 latitude. In 30 north to 35 north, 30 south, 35 south. That means just north of subtropical high pressure belt. Remember very clearly, subtropical high pressure belt is 25 to 30 average location, average. Subtropical high pressure belt is on the surface. And here what we are talking about the top of tropopause. At just north of subtropical high pressure belt, at the top of tropopause, at 30 to 35, we find highest velocity winds. Why? That I will tell you. So why do we find highest velocity winds at the top between 30 to 35? Why not north of it? Why not equatorward of it? They say simple, because as you move poleward, what we see, the distance of tropopause decreases. as the height of tropopause decreases, the distance from axis of rotation will decrease. Why these winds which are moving, they are also revolving in Earth's atmosphere. Surface पर तो इक्वेटर से पोल तक डिस्टेंस डिक्रीज होती है, यहाँ पे भी तो डिस्टेंस डिक्रीज हो रही है. Here also tropopause is slanting. Tropopause is slanting. Tropopause is slanting. So what happens as the wind moves towards poles? Its distance from axis of rotation goes on decreasing, and the velocity of wind increases due to conservation of angular momentum. As you move towards poles, the distance from axis of rotation decreases. Here distance was more, here the distance is less. As the distance from axis of rotation decreases, the velocity of wind increases. So subtropical high pressure winds, subtropical westerly jet streams undergo increase in velocity because of conservation of angular momentum, because as they move towards poles, their distance from axis of rotation decreases and the velocity increases, as well as because of high pressure gradient prevailing there. अब दूसरा पार्ट समझा दूं, पहला समझ में आया? अर्थिका, यस, टाइप इट. भाई टाइप कर दो, नहीं है कोई नहीं. मतलब ये मैंने क्या बताया, मैं सिर्फ छोटी सी बात कर रहा हूँ बेटा. पिछले लेक्चर के बाद 2 दिन में बीमार रहा हूँ क्योंकि तुम्हारे ब्लैंक फेसेस देख के मुझे बुखार आ गया, बिकॉज नोबडी वाज गेटिंग एनीथिंग. तो केवल मीर मुझे को हरी को कुछ आ रहा था, बाकी सब. तो मैं अब चाहता हूँ कि बिल्कुल बेसिक से समझो. भाई subtropical westerly jet stream, why they have exceptionally high velocity, higher than other upper level westerlies? First reason is because these winds are found at 30 to 35 north, and as the wind moves from equator to poles, its distance from axis of rotation decreases, and when the distance from axis of rotation decreases, the velocity undergoes increase because of conservation of angular momentum. यही लिखना है आंसर में. Subtropical westerly jet streams are the result of conservation of angular momentum. As they move towards pole, the distance from axis of rotation decreases and they undergo increase in velocity. Because of this decrease, to conserve angular momentum, velocity increases. Second, and because of high pressure gradient. अब देखो, what I am saying, as the wind is moving towards poles, the distance from axis of rotation is decreasing. So this will be held true for all these winds. So ideally, these winds which are blowing from further below, their velocity should undergo marked increase. Why only to 30 to 35? Move on to 35 to 40. The winds which are becoming west to east, further below, these winds are becoming west to east at 35 to 40. Further below, the winds will become west to east at 40 to 45. They will undergo even more conservation angular momentum. But now, since height is less, so the pressure gradient force is less. So these winds are having velocity because of 2 reasons. One is pressure gradient, and second is conservation of angular momentum. Beyond 30 to 35, the winds that move further north are found below this. The winds that become further west to east below this, further north to east, they are found below this. Below this, the pressure gradient is very less. So since pressure gradient is less, the velocity of any wind is result of 2 factors. For example, the winds at just north of equator, it has moved slightly north of equator. Its velocity is solely because of pressure gradient, isn't it? But as the wind travels towards poles, what happens? It undergoes acceleration because of this pressure gradient. Just north of equator, its velocity was very high. But this wind will gain in velocity as it moves towards poles. Why? Because pressure gradient is there, pressure gradient force is there, and force always causes acceleration. These winds that are moving north, just north of equator, this wind was having less velocity as compared to this. But as it will move poleward, because of prevailing pressure gradient force, it will undergo acceleration, its velocity will increase. Therefore, Coriolis force increases and it becomes west to east further north. And when it becomes west to east, its velocity is high, right? Now, as the winds are moving northward, they are going increase in velocity according to pressure gradient, and this pressure gradient is decreasing with height. This pressure gradient is decreasing with height. So what is happening? And these winds are gaining velocity because more due to conservation of angular momentum. Are you getting this? Winds at the top, they undergo least conservation of angular momentum. Their velocity solely because of Coriolis force, this pressure gradient. Further below, these winds gain in velocity both because of pressure gradient force as well as conservation of angular momentum. Further below, but when we keep on coming below, the contribution of pressure gradient will go on decreasing. Why? This difference will go on decreasing. So pressure gradient force will go on decreasing. So as we move down, the contribution of pressure gradient force goes on decreasing. There has to be a particular location where the contribution of conservation of angular momentum and contribution of pressure gradient both is optimum. Beyond this, the contribution of conservation of angular momentum is there, but the contribution of pressure gradient is very less. Before this, the pressure gradient force accelerates velocity, but the contribution of angular momentum is nil. Between 30 to 35, winds undergo increase in velocity due to conservation of angular momentum as well as because of pressure gradient force. The contribution of both is optimal. Beyond this, although they will undergo increase in velocity due to conservation of angular momentum, but this contribution of pressure gradient will be very less. Are you getting it? नहीं भी getting तो कोई बात नहीं. You simply write subtropical westerly jet streams are the result of conservation of angular momentum. When any wind moves towards poles, its distance from axis of rotation decreases. As a result, it undergoes increase in velocity, and therefore the highest velocity winds are found at 30 to 35, which are known as subtropical westerly jet stream. Second part, और मैं एक बताना चाहता था, the velocity is also high because of high pressure gradient. इसके नॉर्थ, इसके नीचे जो विंड्स हैं इनका प्रेशर ग्रेडियंट कम है, इसके ऊपर जो विंड है इनका प्रेशर ग्रेडियंट ज्यादा है, बट हियर द कंट्रीब्यूशन ऑफ कंजर्वेशन ऑफ एंगुलर मोमेंटम इज लेस. Here contribution of angular momentum is more, but the contribution of pressure gradient is less. The maximum contribution, optimal contribution of increase in velocity caused by conservation of angular momentum and pressure gradient force is at 30 to 35. अच्छा, how many of you got it? जैसे ऐसे पूछ रहा हूँ, नहीं भी आया तो कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता, एग्जामिनर को थोड़ी मालूम तुम्हें आया नहीं आया है, तुम्हें तो सिर्फ एग्जाम में ये लिखना है. Subtropical westerly jet stream are the result of conservation of angular momentum as well as high pressure gradient prevailing at those latitudes. क्या हरी? How many of you have got it 100%? 70%? हैं? Got it? आगे बढ़े. अमृत? Got it? Got it? Got it? देखो, ज्यादा टेंशन नहीं लेने की. मैं बता रहा हूं कुछ कॉन्सेप्ट्स क्लियर होने चाहिए, कुछ में नहीं भी है तो भी काम चल जाता है. ठीक है, कोशिश मैं अपनी तरफ से पूरी कर रहा हूं. आई एम ट्राइंग माई लेवल बेस्ट. क्लाइमेटोलॉजी में ही ऐसा इशू है और बाकी कहीं कॉन्सेप्ट है नहीं. रेस्ट ज्योग्राफी इज वेरी सिंपल. ये नाउ लेट अस कम ऑन टू. सो सब ट्रॉपिकल वेस्टर्ली जेट स्ट्रीम इज ओरिजिनल से जाना है. दे आर द रिजल्ट ऑफ कंजर्वेशन ऑफ एंगुलर मोमेंटम एज वेल एज प्रेशर ग्रेडियंट. I'll discuss them far more elaborately in tropical easterly jet stream and subtropical westerly jet stream, and these basically this I will discuss very elaborately in monsoon, Indian Ocean dipole. What is how does El Nino La Nina affects Indian monsoon? What is Walker circulation? What is Southern Oscillation Index? What is Walker circulation? What is meteorological telecommunication? What is Southern Oscillation? Everything bit by bit. और मैं आई एम टेलिंग यू इनिशियली इट अपीयर्स पता नहीं क्या चल रहा है, धीमे 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 थिंग्स सेटल डाउन. एक बार में एक चीज समझो, नहीं आ रही उसे छोड़ दो, फिर पूछो उसे, फिर समझो, धीमे धीमे तुम्हें लगेगा बाय द टाइम द कोर्स इज ओवर, बिकॉज दीज थिंग्स विल बी रिपीटेड ओवर टाइम. ऐसा नहीं है आज मैं तुम्हें पढ़ा के जा रहा हूँ दोबारा पढ़ाऊंगा नहीं, इसे दोबारा 4 बार पढ़ाऊंगा अभी मैं. सेम थिंग, अगर अभी नहीं आई तो तब आएगी, तब नहीं आई तो तब आएगी, तुम्हें कहीं ना कहीं समझना ही पड़ेगा. आर यू गेटिंग इट? तो ओरिजिन ऑफ ट्रॉपिकल ईस्टर्ली जेट स्ट्रीम. These are seasonal and regional nature. These are seasonal and regional in nature. वर्ड में फोन डाला नहीं, चलो कोई बात नहीं. These are formed during northern summers in northern hemisphere over India and Africa. They lie over the trade winds. मतलब ये समझ लो कि दिस इज द इक्वेटर, They are formed during northern summers in northern hemisphere between India and Africa. ठीक है? Why do they get formed? देखो, this is Peninsula India, है ना? This is Tibetan Plateau, right? This is equator. Open your atlas, see the Tibetan Plateau. Tibetan Plateau is a huge landmass having an average elevation of 4,000 meters, high tableland, bounded by Kunlun Shan Mountain in north, Himalayas in south. It is 2,000 kilometers broad in west, 1,000 kilometers broad in east, and 4,000 meters high. 4,000 मीटर ऊंचा है. It is like a high tableland. It is a high tableland. It is girdled by Great Himalayas in south and Kunlun Shan in north. Have you seen Tibetan Plateau? Have you all opened? ये तो कैमरा थोड़ा नीचे करो यार. अच्छा, बोर्ड ऊंचा नहीं आएगा. चलो अभी नीचे ही समझा देंगे यार, थोड़ा करो ना, ऊपर हो जाएगा ना आराम से. हाँ हाँ ठीक है. देखो ये नहीं आ रहा क्या? अच्छा अच्छा, उत्तर ऊपर कर दो. Now you see this Tibetan Plateau is a high tableland. It is a high. Its height is 4,000 meters from sea level. So high. It is basically very broad, 2,000 kilometers broad in west, 1,000 kilometers broad in east, and extremely long. So it is like a high tableland. Now what happens at height? At more height, more insolation is received. तुमने कभी पहाड़ों पे गए हो? In hilly areas, the daytime heating, even in winters, is very intense. Why? Because at more height, dust particles are less and less lost due to scattering. So more insolation reaches at high altitude. So Tibetan Plateau being located at high altitude, it receives more insolation. Clear? Because loss due to scattering is less. It receives more insolation. So summertime heating of Tibetan Plateau lead to the formation of warm core anticyclone in the middle troposphere. In exam you have to write this. Can anybody tell me the meaning of this? Summertime heating of Tibetan Plateau lead to the formation of warm core anticyclone. Warm core in northern hemisphere, anticyclone moves clockwise. Now this is Tibetan Plateau. This is the surrounding air north and south of Tibetan Plateau. It is a high tableland. Around it, free air will be there. Free air, है ना? Tibetan Plateau is exceptionally heated. It is exceptionally heated. Surrounding air will be cold as compared to Tibetan Plateau. So what you will see, because of intense heating, high temperature and low pressure will prevail at the center of Tibetan Plateau. Getting this? मैं मीनिंग समझा रहा हूं तुम्हें, एग्जाम में नहीं लिखना. तुम्हें तो सीधे लिखना है बिकॉज ऑफ समर टाइम हीटिंग वार्म कोर एंटीसाइक्लोन गेट्स फॉर्म्ड इन मिडिल ट्रोपोस्फियर अबव तिब्बतन प्लेटू. बिकॉज ऑफ समर टाइम हीटिंग ऑफ तिब्बतन प्लेटू, वार्म कोर एंटीसाइक्लोन गेट्स फॉर्म्ड इन द मिडिल ट्रोपोस्फियर. आई एम एक्सप्लेनिंग व्हाई इट हैपेंस. यू नीड नॉट एक्सप्लेन, राइट? Summertime heating Tibetan Plateau at the center, high temperature and low pressure, and in the free air around this, the temperature will be low and pressure will be high. As a result, high temperature and low pressure is surrounded by closed isobars. As you will move towards the edges of Tibetan Plateau, the temperature will decrease. It is surrounded by free air that is having low temperature. This air is getting heated. Why? Because of heating of surface of Tibetan Plateau. तुम अगर किसी टेबल को ले जाके धूप में रख दो, टेबल को, द टेबल विल गेट हीटेड, द एयर अबव विल गेट हीटेड, बट इफ एट द सेम लेवल इन फ्री एयर विच इज नॉट अबव टेबल, द एयर विल बी कूल. एक लकड़ी की टेबल लो एंड पुट इट इन द अंडर द सन एंड Go after 2-3 hours after intense heating, you will see table is heated, air above is heated, but in the free air around table, air will be cool. So around Tibetan Plateau, over northern plains and the Tarim Basin and upper atmosphere at the same level, air will have low temperature and high pressure. As we will move from center, this low pressure at the center is because of high temperature, and this low pressure center, as you move away from it, the temperature is decreasing because of moderating effect of surrounding environment. Temperature is decreasing. This temperature is decreasing. Why? Because surrounding environment is having low temperature and high pressure. As the temperature is decreasing, the isobars, the pressure will increase. So what you see over Tibetan Plateau, low pressure center is surrounded by closed isobars of increasing pressure. That means cyclonic system. Low pressure center surrounded by closed isobars of increasing pressure means cyclonic system, cyclone. And this low pressure is because of high temperature. There is no rise of air, only high temperature. It is warm core cyclone. Now simple analogy, here air is warm and rarefied. Over here temperature, here pressure will decrease rapidly. In surrounding region, air is cold, dense and heavy. Pressure will decrease fast at rate of 50. At rate of 50 millibar. है ना? Here pressure will decrease slowly. After certain height, here the pressure by the time you reach middle tropopause, since over Tibetan Plateau air is warm and rarefied, pressure is decreasing rapidly. In middle troposphere, what will happen? Here the pressure is decreasing slowly. Why? Because air is warm and rarefied over Tibetan Plateau. In adjoining region, it's comparatively cold, so pressure is decreasing fast at rate of 50. After certain height, what you will see? At the center, here the pressure will be higher. कर लो ना, यहाँ 900 मिलीवार कुछ भी मान लो, यहाँ उससे कम मान लो, it will decrease at rate less than at rate of less 20. It will decrease at rate of 50. So what will happen here? High pressure and high temperature will coexist, and it will be surrounded by isobars of decreasing pressure. Here this pressure will become high, and here this pressure will become low. High pressure and high temperature. Now this high pressure is why? Because of warm air. This high pressure center is surrounded by closed isobars of decreasing pressure. This is called anticyclone. Anticyclonic system is what? High pressure center surrounded by isobars of decreasing pressure. Here pressure is decreasing because here pressure was decreasing slowly. After certain height, in here and in the adjoining region, pressure was decreasing fast because air was cold. After certain height, this low pressure will transform into high pressure. Take values. Take values. At the center, it is warm. Warm. The air is, Tibetan Plateau is hot. Because of this hot plateau, air is warm and rarefied. So, the warm and rarefied air of 100 kilometer or 100 meters will exert less pressure, and cold dense air of 100 meter will exert more pressure. So, here the pressure will decrease slowly. In the adjoining region, pressure will decrease fast. So what will happen? The low pressure at the surface will after certain height, it will increase. It will not increase, it will decrease slowly. So this low pressure will transform into high pressure vis-a-vis surrounding region, because in surrounding region pressure is decreasing very fast. So high pressure and high temperature will coexist, and this will be surrounded by closed isobars of decreasing pressure, because this pressure has become high. Because the pressure is decreasing slowly, it is anticyclone. This high pressure system is caused due to high temperature. So it is known as warm core anticyclone. In northern hemisphere, anticyclonic flow is always in clockwise direction. So over Tibetan Plateau, what you will see over Tibetan Plateau in middle troposphere, warm core anticyclone has come into existence. In northern hemisphere, anticyclonic flow is always in clockwise direction. What is clockwise? This direction. See, this is clockwise direction. This is clockwise direction. On this warm core anticyclone gets formed in middle troposphere. On the southern side of this warm core anticyclone, winds are moving from east to west. These east to west moving winds are known as tropical easterly trade winds, tropical easterly jet stream. Tropical easterly. अब तुमको सबसे बड़ी समस्या ये है, प्रॉब्लम ये आ रही है यार, ये वार्म कोर साइक्लोन ये बहुत जरूरी है, तुम्हें ये सब नहीं समझाना, तुम्हें तो सिंपली इतना लिखना है ट्रॉपिकल ईस्टर्ली जेट स्ट्रीम्स are the result of summertime heating of Tibetan Plateau. Because of summertime heating of Tibetan Plateau, warm core anticyclone gets formed in middle troposphere. On the southern side of this warm core anticyclone, winds moving from east to west are known as tropical easterly jet stream. अब ये वार्म कोर एंटी साइक्लोन आया कहां से, ये समझाने में अपने समय मैंने अपना इन्वेस्ट किया है, ये तुम्हें नहीं समझाना एग्जामिनर को, दिस इज जस्ट फॉर योर सेक ऑफ अंडरस्टैंडिंग. अच्छा, कितने लोगों को समझ में आया ये वार्म कोर एंटी साइक्लोन कैसे बन गया है? यस, हाथ खड़े कर दो. रचना नहीं आया अभी? ये वार्म कोर साइक्लोन और वार्म कोर एंटी साइक्लोन आया? Why air pressure is decreasing fast rate in cold air mass vertically, है ना? रचना मैंने कहा था रिवाइज करके आना. ये सिंपली रिफ्लेक्ट कर रहा है कि तुमने पहले यहां पर प्रेशर तेजी से क्यों गिर रहा है, यहां पर धीमे धीमे क्यों गिर रहा है, तुम इसलिए पूछ रही हो तुमने पुराने लेक्चर नहीं देखे क्या चंद्रमुखी? सही कह रहा हूं नहीं कह रहा हूं? यू आर आस्किंग दिस बिकॉज यू हैव नॉट सीन, बिकॉज ज्योग्राफी में अगर 10 मिनट का भी गैप हो गया लेक्चर का तो तुम्हें कुछ समझ में नहीं आएगा. एक्चुअली इसलिए गिर रहा है क्योंकि वहां पर कोल्ड एयर हैवी होती है, डेंस होती है, तो 100 मीटर की कोल्ड एयर विल एक्सर्ट मोर प्रेशर. वार्म एयर इज वार्म एंड रेरिफाइड, वार्म एयर एक्सर्ट्स लेस प्रेशर, रेरिफाइड डेंस एयर ज्यादा प्रेशर एक्सर्ट करती है ना. कोल्ड एयर इज डेंस हैवी, इट एक्सर्ट्स मोर प्रेशर. वार्म एयर इज वार्म एंड रेरिफाइड, सो इट एक्सर्ट्स लेस प्रेशर. ये तुम वीडियो देखो पुराने, तुमने देखे नहीं अभी पूरे, सी देम. अब सैटरडे संडे को छुट्टी थी तभी, यू शुड सी देम. All of you are clear कि how warm core anticyclone gets formed? Yes, अमृत बोरा, मीर मुजीब, और ऊपर दिखाना बेटा. हरी, हाँ, got it. Yes, Chandmani, you have not replied. That's very bad, नहीं? Chandmani, is it clear? Yes. इसको जाना, why it is so important? Because we have to use it exhaustively. It plays a very important role in determining the Indian monsoon. अभी तो मैं superficially बता दूंगा, हर चीज डिटेल में तो नहीं बता सकते ना. I will try my level best, but I cannot explain everything. Here we will discuss the significance. After discussing the origin, I will discuss the significance. Now let us come on to, these are tropical easterly jet stream, very important for intensifying the southwest monsoon, summer monsoon. They steers the depressions formed in Bay of Bengal. They're coming from like this. They steers the depressions formed in Bay of Bengal, and which account for 40% of monsoon rainfall in India. I'll tell you, those years when the ice over the Tibetan plateau does not melt, जब आइस नहीं मेल्ट करेगी तो तिब्बतन प्लेटू में वार्म कोर साइक्लोन विल नॉट गेट फॉर्म्ड, तो वार्म कोर एंटी साइक्लोन विल आल्सो नॉट गेट फॉर्म्ड. In those years, Indian monsoon remained very weak. I'll discuss. These north east to west winds, a branch of it also moves along Calcutta Bangalore axis, crosses equator, turns leftward and sinks over Indian Ocean. You might have heard about Mascarene High. These tropical easterly jet stream, a branch of it moves along Calcutta Bangalore axis, crosses equator and sinks over, turns towards left and sinks over islands of southern Indian Ocean during northern summers. And during northern summers, it's winter in southern hemisphere. This sinking tropical easterly jet stream further intensify the high pressure over southern Indian Ocean, which intensifies the southwest monsoon. I'll explain it in significance. Now, fourth, that is polar night jet stream. एक 2 मिनट का ब्रेक ले लेते हैं. ठीक है. नाउ क्या पढ़ा है चौथा? ओरिजिन ऑफ एटलस. हाँ, origin of polar, what are polar night jet stream? You might have heard about polar vortex. अखबार में कहीं पढ़ा होगा. पोलर या circumpolar winds, है ना? Polar night jet streams are formed in winters above polar regions in stratosphere at a height of 30 kilometer from surface. वैसे तो stratosphere is devoid of any activity, but polar vortex or polar night jet streams are found. They are formed in both the hemisphere, over North Pole and South Pole. Because of why? It becomes cold. In winters, it becomes cold because of steep temperature gradient prevailing in stratosphere. During winter season, in northern winters, above North Polar region, stratosphere becomes cold. During southern winters, above Antarctica, stratosphere becomes cold. Polar vortex और circumpolar winds. तो मैंने क्या कहा अभी तक? मैंने सिर्फ इतना कहा कि polar night jet streams are formed during winter season, during northern winter in over northern poles, during southern winters over southern poles. These winds are formed in winters. In northern winters over North Pole, in southern winters over South Pole. In stratosphere, these are found in stratosphere at a height of 30 kilometers from the surface. Why in stratosphere? Because of steep temperature gradient prevailing over there. Right? Now, let me explain you. Why do they get formed? See, this is suppose polar region, Arctic region or Antarctic, right? Now, during winters, both Arctic and Antarctic becomes very cold, extreme winters. Over Antarctic, this phenomena is much more pronounced because over Antarctic, the temperature of lower stratosphere remains below -80 for 5-6 months. Over Arctic, this phenomena remains only for 1-2 months. Now what happens? Suppose this is Antarctica region or Arctic region, it is winters. So this region will be completely frozen. Here you will have high pressure and extremely low temperature. On surface, an adjoining region will be comparatively warm. Now this we are discussing in troposphere. Here near poles, stratosphere lies at a height of just 8 kilometers and winters even less. भैया देखो बड़े carefully. Here it is extremely cold, so air is around poles, air is cold, dense and heavy. Yes, नाम था, वो लड़की चली गई, पूजा नहीं, कौन पूछ रही थी? Rashna, you asked me why pressure is decreasing steeply over cold air mass. Same thing again. Over poles, it's extremely cold, low temperature, high pressure, cold dense air lies over the poles. Away from poles, here you will have low pressure and comparatively high temperature. As compared to poles, polar region, on the surface, poles will be ice covered. Polar adjoining region will be comparatively warm. Over poles, the air is cold, dense and heavy. Here air is warm and rarefied. If you move 1 kilometer above the surface, yes, Pooja, you tell me, this cold, dense air will exert more pressure or this warm or rarefied air? Warm and rarefied air is always lighter. It will exert less pressure. है ना? With height, pressure will decrease rapidly over the polar region. And it will decrease slowly in adjoining region. As a result, by the time you reach middle troposphere, you will find this high pressure, since pressure was decreasing very rapidly, this high pressure transforms into, and this low pressure was decreasing slowly. Here you will find high pressure. So what you will see, on the surface, winds, high pressure center, winds will diverge on the surface of poles. Here high pressure is there, cold course anticyclone will be found, isn't it? Surrounding regions, pressure is less. Here you have high pressure and surrounding region pressure is less. High pressure surrounded by closed isobars of decreasing pressure. Anticyclonic flow will be found on the surface. But by the time you reach middle troposphere, what you find? Cyclonic flow. Air will start converging. Air will start converging. Cold core cyclone. See, low pressure center surrounded by isobars of high pressure, and this low pressure is because of low temperature. So it is cold core cyclone formation takes place. Here what you need to know. See, in upper atmosphere, I will discuss soon. I'll discuss while I will discuss geostrophic winds. In upper atmosphere, geostrophic winds are found or gradient winds are found. I'll discuss. If a low pressure is surrounded by a closed isobar of increasing pressure, on the surface because of friction, air starts converging. Air starts converging. Whereas in upper atmosphere, where there is no friction, if a low pressure center is surrounded by closed isobars of increasing pressure, here what happens? Air starts moving in circles. Air starts moving in circle. Now, as you will rise, air does not converge because of there is no friction. Air start in northern hemisphere around low pressure center, air moves in anti-clockwise direction. In northern hemisphere around, we'll discuss. It is a concept. It is a concept, geostrophic winds. So at high altitude, what we see? This is low pressure. Air will start, and as you will ascend, this circle will become larger and larger, and it will extend well into stratosphere. This is polar vortex. सुंदर नहीं है. अब सुंदर लगा. See, funnel shape. What is happening as you are rising up? This high pressure is increasing, this high pressure is increasing, and this low pressure is now air from far off regions are encircling. Air from far off regions are encircling. When the low pressure, if the adjoining region, this low pressure goes on becoming low and high pressure high, what happens? Air from far off region starts converging. Since they do not converge, they move in circles. In upper atmosphere, I will tell you, when a low pressure center is surrounded by closed isobars of increasing pressure, wind move in circles. And as this pressure difference goes on increasing with height, these circles go on becoming larger. And this is known as polar vortex. This is known as polar vortex. And these fast moving winds in stratosphere are known as polar night jet streams. Polar night jet streams are found at the top of polar vortex. Circumpolar winds. Now, have you heard about ozone hole? Ozone is made in stratosphere. Ozone layer lies above stratosphere. Ozone gets formed in stratosphere, then ozone is transported. Now, see what happens in winters. In winters, this phenomena takes place. What happens? Is that clear? ये इतना clear है? Yes, Anamika. Yes, Pooja. This direction of air in upper troposphere determined by Coriolis force. Yes, direction of air is determined by Coriolis force. Pooja, ये सब मैं पढ़ाऊंगा अभी. Actually, कुछ भी पढ़ाओ, कहीं ना कहीं तुम्हें कुछ ना कुछ assume करना पड़ेगा, क्योंकि कोई ना कोई चीज तो बाद में पढ़ाऊंगा. I cannot, because it's not possible to teach geostrophic winds भी नहीं पढ़ा सकता ना. अभी मान लो मेरी बात, I will prove it. In upper atmosphere, geostrophic winds always move in anti-clockwise direction around a low pressure center surrounded by closed isobars of increasing pressure. I'll prove it. Coriolis force is responsible for this movement, right? Now, this pressure, high pressure, difference between high pressure and low pressure goes on increasing as the circles of winds go on becoming larger. And these fast moving winds in middle stratosphere, not upper, in middle stratosphere, these are known as polar night jet stream. During winters, both above Antarctica and over Arctic region, over North Pole and South Pole, when the temperature, one thing, have you heard about chlorofluoromethane? Have you heard about chlorofluoromethane? हाँ बेटा, chlorofluoro क्लोरोफ्लोरो, नहीं सुना? सुना होगा भाई, वो ओजोन डिप्लीट करती है ना, ओजोन डिप्लीटिंग, मॉन्ट्रियल प्रोटोकॉल, नॉट हर्ड? क्लोरोफ्लोरोमीथेन, दिस डिप्लीट्स ओजोन, एंड पहले के एसी रेफ्रिजरेटर छोड़ते थे ये, तो उसे बैन कर दिया गया अंडर मॉन्ट्रियल प्रोटोकॉल, इट वाज बैंड. So chlorine is released during from paddy fields also. So methane, not chlorine. So this chlorine is the most destructive for, chlorine atom is most destructive for ozone hole. Now this polar night jet stream or polar vortex, at the top of polar vortex, these high velocity winds are polar night jet stream. Now chlorine is released, mostly population is in northern hemisphere. भाई लोग कहाँ रहते हैं? Northern hemisphere में रहते हैं ना. But as this chlorine moves up, because of upward movement of wind, it is uniformly distributed over both the hemisphere. Chlorine molecule, because of upper level movement of wind, बढ़िया से uniformly, बिल्कुल, chlorine is uniformly distributed in the entire upper troposphere, and it exists in the form of compound, so it is not reactive. In troposphere, upper troposphere, it is even transported to stratosphere, to tropical troposphere, it is transported into stratosphere, and in troposphere or stratosphere, over equator and poles, it is spread everywhere. Lower stratosphere, upper troposphere, chlorine exists in the form of compound, so it is unreactive. It is spread uniformly throughout the globe. Why? Because of wind movement in the upper atmosphere. It even enters into stratosphere to transport various movement of winds. Now, during winters, when this polar night jet stream or polar vortex gets formed, now in stratosphere, in this region also chlorine is existing in the form of compound. Outside this also chlorine is existing in the form of compound. Since it is existing in the form of compound, it is unreactive. Now what happens during northern winters and southern winters? The temperature inside the polar vortex goes below minus 80 degrees centigrade in stratosphere. Goes below? Yes. Oh, Arctic region, it goes much below than that. And such low temperature persists for 5 to 6 months. Over Antarctica. Over Antarctica in stratosphere, such temperature below minus 80 persists for 5 to 6 months. Over Arctic region, such temperature persists for 1 to 2 months. When the temperature inside this polar vortex goes below minus 80, these water vapor and other acids, they lead to the formation of cloud known as PSC, polar stratospheric clouds, PSC. When the temperature inside the polar vortex goes below minus 80, it happens every year during winters. In northern hemisphere, it happens for 1 to 2 months. In lower stratosphere, for Antarctica, it happens for 5 to 6 months. As a result, when temperature goes below minus 80 inside the polar vortex is what? It is surrounded by very fast moving winds known as polar night jet stream. These, when the temperature inside the polar vortex goes below minus 80, these clouds get formed. They are made up of water vapor, nitric acid, whatever. And whatever chlorine that is existing in the form of compound, which is found within this polar vortex. Yes, chlorine is uniformly distributed in upper troposphere and lower stratosphere across the globe. Whatever chlorine compound is trapped in this polar vortex, as soon as this cloud gets formed, the chlorine compound, the chlorine ने किसी atom के साथ मिलके compound, किसी molecule के साथ मिलके compound बनाया होगा ना, chlorine molecule must have made compound by attaching itself with any other molecules. Those molecules are known as reservoir molecules. Now, as soon as polar stratospheric clouds get formed, chlorine that was unreactive because it was existing in the form of compound, the molecules with which it formed the compound are known as reservoir molecules. As soon as this polar stratospheric clouds get formed, the reservoir molecules get attached to these polar stratospheric clouds, and chlorine molecule becomes free. And this process continues throughout the winter. Millions and millions of chlorine molecules keep on piling up. The compound form chlorine was unreactive, but because of formation of these clouds, the reservoir molecules that formed compound with chlorine, they attach itself with PSC clouds, PSC, and chlorine molecules become free. But it is not reactive because it's dark. For any reaction to start, light is prerequisite. Chlorine molecules keep on piling up on the surface, and these reservoir molecules keep on attaching them with clouds. Now, as the solar rays begin, as the winters end and spring, ozone hole always occur in spring season, hai na? In northern hemisphere. As the spring season approaches and first insolation of solar rays will reach, the chlorine molecule will dissociate into chlorine atom. It is highly reactive. One chlorine atom destroys 1 lakh ozone molecule, and billions of chlorine molecules have piled up during the winters. And as the spring appears, spring season, and the first sunshine of solar rays impacts over these clouds, the chlorine molecule become activated, intensely active. The molecule dissociates into atoms, and these atoms start destroying the ozone. Ozone outside this is not being destroyed. Ozone only within this polar vortex is being destroyed. Outside ozone is not destroyed because there is no polar stratus cloud. No cloud. No cloud. So chlorine is existing in the form of compound. It is unreactive. And this continues throughout the spring. January, February, March. Now, what do we know by understand by ozone hole? Ozone thickness is measured in Dobson units. When the thickness of ozone is reduced from 300 Dobson units to 100 Dobson units, we call ozone hole. Hole is not a perfect hole. When the thickness of ozone is reduced from 300 Dobson unit to 100 Dobson unit, 300 Dobson unit means 3 millimeters. Thickness of 3 millimeters. 300 Dobson unit. When its thickness is reduced from 300 Dobson unit to 100 Dobson unit, we call it ozone hole. Now, by the month of March, खूब destroy कर लिया, उधम मचा लिया जितना मचाना था. Now, by the month of March, surface gets heated. Temperature starts increasing in stratosphere. Temperature goes above -80, -70. These clouds evaporate. These clouds, yes, as the temperature will increase, what will happen? They got formed because temperature go below -80. With March, what will happen? Sunshine will increase, temperature will raise. Beyond -80, -70, these clouds will evaporate. Compounds, reservoir molecules will get released. And reservoir molecules again attaches themselves with chlorine atom. Chlorine again becomes compound. Again become unreactive. And as the temperature increases, this high pressure will dissociate, and these polar night jet streams will disappear. In winter, they exist only in winter because of steep temperature gradient prevailing in stratosphere. During summer, this polar circumpolar winds or polar night jet streams or the fast moving winds at the top of polar vortex, they will dissipate. And ozone from outside will start filling the ozone inside. And gradually, by the end of spring, ozone hole disappears. Have you got this? इसका printed matter भी दे दूंगा, तुम्हारे को समझ में नहीं आएगा उसमें. जो मैंने पढ़ाया है उतना समझ लो. Because lot of technical words are there. For example, baroclinic and barotropic. Baroclinical instability, barotropical instability. I will make you understand. But if you go by books, you will be confused. Have you got this concept? Yes, Pooja? Fluoro? क्या दिखाना? The hole is getting filled with what the problem with chlorofluoro? अरे problem है ना गोलाविली. During spring season, ultraviolet radiation reach the surface and they cause cancer. When the thickness of ozone is decreased during spring season, and as more and more greenhouse gases are being piled up, such certain gases, chlorine, are detrimental to ozone. And during spring season, these ultraviolet radiation are reaching the surface. They are killing the life. मतलब अगर और थिन होता जाएगा तो एक टाइम आएगा तो बिल्कुल डिसअपीयर हो जाएगा. सो ड्यूरिंग स्प्रिंग सीजन द लाइफ विल बी रेंडर्ड इम्पॉसिबल. पूजा यस मनीषा यस ठीक है. नाउ वी हैव डिस्कस्ड द ओरिजिन ऑफ ऑल फोर जेट स्ट्रीम. Now let us come on again on significance of jet stream. First, let us come with polar front jet stream. Most important. In fact, all are important. If simple jet stream is written, it means polar front jet stream. Now, I told you they are formed. They are formed because of steep pressure gradient prevailing because of convergence of westerlies and polar easterlies. These polar front jet streams are found. They are the result of baroclinical instability. Polar front jet streams are the result of, अपने आंसर को धमाकेदार बनाने के लिए कुछ ऐसे शब्द मार दो ना एग्जाम में भी लगे, दे आर द रिजल्ट ऑफ बैरोक्लिनिकल इंस्टेबिलिटी. मैं पढ़ा दूंगा व्हाट इज बैरोट्रॉपिकल इंस्टेबिलिटी एंड बैरोक्लिनिकल इंस्टेबिलिटी. Polar front jet streams are the result of baroclinical instability. They are thousands of kilometers in length, hundreds of kilometers wide, and few kilometers thick. नहीं कुछ बैठने का इंतजाम करो यार, इधर खड़े खड़े. इतनी मेहनत केवल क्लाइमेटोलॉजी में ही है. इन अदर पार्ट्स ना तुम्हें दिमाग लगाना है इतना, ना मुझे इतनी मेहनत करनी है, मतलब कम में काम चल जाएगा. नाउ पोलर front jet streams are thousands of kilometers in length, hundreds of kilometers wide, few kilometers thick, है ना. अच्छा, during northern summers what happens? All the pressure belts shift northward. Subpolar low pressure belt will also shift northward. Westerlies during northern summers. The contrast between the polar easterlies and westerlies is less. Summer season, I told you, during summer what happens? Earth is inclined towards the sun. The sun is shining over Tropic of Cancer, है ना? An entire area gets heated. So temperature decreases slowly and pressure rises slowly. And if pressure decreases slow, wind velocity will be slow. Both surface and upper winds are sluggish during summer season. During summer season, these are not so cold and these are warm. So the pressure gradient is less. Difference in pressure is less. During summer क्या होता है? The temperature contrast between polar easterlies and warm westerlies is less as compared to winters. In winters, they are coming for ice-covered regions and basically they are carrying very cold air mass. Yes, winters में भी warm ही रहेंगी. क्यों? They are the result of sinking of air along subtropical high pressure belt. That sinking air transforms into westerlies and trade winds. So they are warm. During winters, the contrast is more. During summer, the temperature contrast is. Because summers में क्या होता है? For 6 months, it is lighting over the northern hemisphere, hasn't it? So it's warm. It's not so cold. It's cold, not so cold. And summer westerlies are warm. So temperature contrast is less. So what will happen? The air over the air mass over the polar easterlies will be cold, but not so cold. Air mass over the westerlies during summers will be warm, but air mass over polar easterlies not so cold, and warm westerlies, over warm westerlies air mass is warm. So what you will see, with height, the pressure difference will decrease slowly. Polar air mass carried by the cold polar easterly is not so cold because it is summertime, and air mass over westerlies is warm. So this is not so cold. This means it is not so cold, dense and heavy. This means what? The pressure will not decrease at a rate of 50. Rather, it may decline at a rate of 30. And here it may decline over polar westerlies. The pressure may decline at a rate of 20 because it is warm. It is also slightly cold. So pressure at the top, the pressure gradient will not be steep, and jet streams are weak. Jet streams are, because if the pressure is decreasing slowly over polar easterly, that means they are not so cold, dense and heavy. When they are not so cold, dense and heavy, the pressure will decrease slowly, and at the top, the pressure difference over the warm westerlies and polar easterly will be less. When pressure difference is less, pressure gradient will be less. When the pressure gradient is less, velocity will be less. Are you getting it? So jet streams are weak during summers. Any doubt? And since the surface position of this front will shift towards poles, jet streams, polar front jet streams are not only weak, but they are also pushed towards poles. They remain towards poles during summers. They are weak and they are confined around poles. Summers mein sun is in the northern hemisphere, this zone, that's a polar front that separates westerlies, their baroclinical instability is less intense during northern summer or southern summer. Baroclinical instability is less intense. Baroclinical instability is simply the difference in temperature contrast between these two air masses. So jet streams are, during summers they are weak and they are close to poles. And what happens during winters, whether northern or summer? During winter, sun is in the southern hemisphere, subpolar low pressure belt will shift towards the equator. It will shift towards equator. Ice covered region, polar studies are coming from ice covered region. They are extremely cold. They are bringing cold air mass along with them up to tropopause. Warm westerlies are the result of sinking of air, so they are always bring warm air mass. The temperature contrast is steep. Jet streams are very strong. Velocity is very high, and they extend far close to equator up to 35 north. During winters, jet streams are not only strong, that means the velocity is high. Yes, in winters it's high because this cold air mass is very cold. This cold air mass is very cold. So now winters, the pressure will decrease very fast. 50, 50, 50, 50, 50, and the pressure difference will be very steep. So jet stream will be very strong. They are close to equator. I will tell you Rossby waves. They develops meander. They develops meander or Rossby waves. I'll discuss because of north-south extending mountain. And they even extend close to equator up to 35 north. अरे भाई winters में this subpolar low pressure belt shift up to 35 to 40 north. Well, imagine. So polar front jet streams are formed so much close to equator, and they are very strong. अच्छा ये बताओ, ये समझ में आ रहा है वैसे? Polar front jet streams are the result of convergence of two contrasting air masses, and the contrast between these two air masses is more during winters. So polar front jet streams are stronger in winters, and the contrast between the air mass is less during summer. So polar front jet stream is weak during summer, and during summers, since polar front, the zone of formation of jet stream is pushed towards poles. During summers, jet streams are confined to the polar region. During winters, jet stream extend well close to equator. Jet streams are characterized by lateral wind shear and vertical wind shear. क्या होता है? Jet stream के center में velocity maximum होगी at the center. Gradually, as you move laterally away, horizontally away, the velocity will decrease. The velocity will decrease. Suppose jet stream is blowing in upper troposphere. This is the jet stream. At the center, velocity will be maximum. And as you move away, north and south of it, the velocity will decrease. This is barotropical. And with height, I told you, with height, what will happen? At the top, velocity will be maximum. With decreasing height, the velocity will decrease. Jet stream, भाई बताया था ना, warm westerlies and cold polar easterlies. At the top, jet streams are found. Jet streams are having specific thickness. So as the height will decrease, the pressure difference will decrease. भाई warm westerlies और cold polar easterlies के ऊपर top पे maximum pressure difference होगा ना, तो at the top velocity is high and the middle part. और अगर height decrease करती है, it is known as vertical wind shear. The pressure difference, the pressure gradient will become less steep. So here as you move down, the pressure gradient is less, difference in pressure is less. It is this vertical decrease in velocity is known as vertical wind shear. And at the top, the lateral wind shear is, that is decrease in velocity as you move away from the center horizontally. The jet stream बह रही है. Jet stream is having 2 kilometer thickness and few kilometer width. Jet stream की width होती है, तो center से जैसे laterally away जाएंगे, the velocity will decrease. That is lateral wind shear. And as you decrease in height, the vertical decrease in velocity is known as vertical wind shear. Vertical wind shear is baroclinical instability. Lateral wind shear is barotropical instability. Don't give attention to these words, baroclinal, barotropical. Now, jet stream की दो खास बात क्या, you must understand vertical wind shear and lateral wind shear. Now, let us start with a life index cycle of jet stream. It is the 4-stage life index cycle. अच्छा, टेल मी वन थिंग, अभी मैंने पोलर फ्रंट जेट स्ट्रीम की कुछ जनरल कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स डिस्कस की थी. दे आर थाउजेंड्स ऑफ किलोमीटर लॉन्ग, हंड्रेड्स ऑफ किलोमीटर वाइड, few kilometer thick, strong in winter and extend up to close to equator in winters, weak in summer, confined to poles in summers. And then I discussed these jet streams are characterized by vertical wind shear, lateral wind shear. Is that clear? Now, life index cycle. That is polar front jet stream. In your notes, see, jet stream plays very important role. Polar front jet stream, first, it is responsible for exchange of heat. This removes spatial imbalance of heat. Tropics receive more insolation, poles receive less insolation. This spatial imbalance of heat is removed by polar front jet stream. It removes spatial imbalance of heat. Second, remove impurities from environment. It removes impurities from environment. कैसे? I'll discuss. जैसे दिल्ली में सर्दियों में क्या होता है? What happens in Delhi? The land is extremely cold. As a result, level of inversion gets formed at a certain height. This level of inversion prevents the rise of smoke, dust, or poisonous other gases. They are all piled below this level of inversion, and that creates breathing problem. Although India is tropical country, just because of continentality, the inversion happens in Delhi. In middle latitudes, all these countries are extremely cold, and they have been industrialized since very early. So during winters, during large part of year, inversion prevails in these countries. Germany, Poland, these countries, Switzerland, US, UK, Canada. These countries are Russia, so industrialized, and they are extremely cold. So inversion is a normal phenomena. And if they are so much industrialized and so much pollutants have been released, how the people are still living? But so much of pollution. St. Petersburg, St. Steel capital of the world. This, I'm forgetting the name. Near this in Pennsylvania. It used to become completely dark during daytime. So much of pollution. Manufacturing began in Europe and America. And in those parts of the world, inversion is a normal phenomena. It remains most part of the year. भाई दिल्ली में तो 2-3 महीने के लिए inversion होता है, उसमें जान के लाले पड़ जाते हैं. Why how those people have been surviving for so long, and they have been industrialized since so long, all these pollutants gets piled up. It is jet stream that remove these pollutants, that has made possible life in the middle latitudes characterized by continentality. Those industrialized region कब के लोग मर रहे होते? It is jet stream, this jet stream that removes impurities. This jet stream is responsible for the genesis of temperate cyclone. Temperate cyclones. अब इसका सबका एक्सप्लेनेशन दूंगा एक एक करके. Of one more, this jet stream, fourth, polar front jet stream is responsible for the transport of moisture in stratosphere. I told you, by convective mechanism, it's not possible for air to rise beyond tropopause, because tropopause is characterized by inversion. But jet streams, merely because of their velocity, they tear apart. Tropopause enter into stratosphere, and they carry ice crystals, that is cirrus clouds, also known as mother of pearl clouds, in stratosphere. These clouds are formed in stratosphere. The only visible phenomena in stratosphere is cirrus clouds, also known as mother of pearl clouds. They are formed in stratosphere purely because of polar front jet streams. They tear into the stratosphere merely because of their velocity. And these clouds are made up of ice crystals. These clouds are made up of ice crystals. They don't cause rainfall. In fact, these cirrus clouds, cirrostratus, cirrocumulus, they are indicative of well-settled weather. When they appear, that means weather is clear, no rainfall, no instability. Well-settled, clear weather.